Here we go!
We're feeling very gay because it's almost time to play. Grab your favorite chair with the Lucky Pierres. Yeah!
All right, guys, what's up? Welcome back to the Lucky Pierre's movie reviews. Tonight, we're reviewing another classic from 1993, True Romance. Okay, True Romance. We just watched it this week. What'd you guys think? I mean, we've all seen it before, but what do you think? Initial thoughts?
My first thought was smoking in a movie theater made me want to barf.
That was your first thought watching the movie?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like when she's smoking.
Well, that is an
behind-
early
sitting-
scene.
When
Yeah.
she's sitting behind him smoking in the cigarette, she's like, I hope you don't mind me smoking. I wanted to vomit at my desk.
Yeah, smoking is a nasty habit, and
In movie theaters, it's the
Yeah,
worst.
it would definitely ruin a movie.
yeah, but
And then also him using his Elvis speech on girls back to back, like within minutes of each other.
yeah,
That's the way to do it.
he's a big Elvis fan, so yeah. So yeah, it opens with Clarence trying to pick up what appears to be a lady of the night in a dive bar.
And he definitely doesn't mind that she is.
No, you kind of feel sorry for him though because he just wants someone to see kung fu movies with. You know what I mean? So
It's his birthday, so he
yeah,
wants
it's his
someone to hang out
birthday,
with.
and you could tell he's kind of lonely. He wants someone to see kung fu movies with. So he goes to see a kung fu movie alone. That's when he meets
But
Alabama.
they act like teenagers for much of the movie instead of like adults. And then I thought to myself, I was like, but so do I. So
Yeah,
why am I?
that's
caring?
true. Yeah, they're about our age or so, and yeah, they acted like
Like they acted like
immature at times.
like super like a kid's first date because they're like, oh, let me take you to the comic book shop I have a set of keys to
They-
and read you Spider-Man #1.
Yeah, he's a nerd at heart, so you know.
Yeah, and she was paid to hang out with him, so I
Yeah.
mean,
Well,
he's
you
gonna
don't
do
know
whatever
that.
he wants. Well, she knows that, so
I know, but you don't know that until after.
A little
hang out at
after,
the
yeah.
comic shop.
But the opening song, how about that opening song? Real feel good song.
it's played through the movie like 6 times.
It
so.
is, yeah. It just doesn't fit the setting, kind of though. I felt it was more like a tropical song, and it's playing in like to images of like
Detroit,
homeless
rundown
people
Detroit.
and rundown, dilapidated buildings and stuff. You know, snowy setting. It just doesn't feel right, but yet it kind of
That's
works.
a-
It works.
Later I had a note. It said not necessarily a great soundtrack, but it was a very fitting soundtrack, and like it got the job done.
It did for sure. Hans Zimmer again. Hans Zimmer's such a great
a very
composer.
appropriate and fitting soundtrack.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So she spills popcorn on him intentionally. We'll find out later. And they have good chemistry. She's very forward, aggressive.
Yeah, then-
again, because she has a job to do.
I didn't remember or expect to see Patricia Arquette's boobs so quickly in the movie. Like it's between 10 and 15 minutes in, and her boobs are on screen.
Yeah, yeah.
I was at my desk at work, by the way.
Yeah. Both characters seem lonely and maybe troubled a little bit. And that's why they kind of hit it off, you know?
So she's definitely more trouble than him.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Because she's a prostitute. She said she's only been on the job
For 4 hours.
4 days. 4
Yeah.
days. She's he's her third
Yeah.
client. Yeah. And Clarence
Call girl, not a prostitute. She
Yeah.
makes that clear.
Real
yeah,
upset.
call girl. Lady of the night, yeah. Clarence, I noticed one thing. You guys notice he put an obscene amount of sugar in his coffee.
Oh,
it
yeah,
happens
they
twice
bring
in the
it up.
movie.
They bring
yeah.
it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that tells you he's a
And he
sucker
says-
for sweet things.
I
She's
said I
sweet.
like it. I like when my spoon stands up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good line. Yeah. Yeah, I have that in my notes too. They bang within hours of meeting each other.
And then
Literally hours within meeting
Well,
each
then
other.
I wrote.
That's the way of the world.
Christian Slater was in.
She's a call girl.
The Wizard.
That's true. That's true.
Christian
That's her
Slater
job.
was in The Wizard and Gleaming the Cube. So everything after that's just a bonus because those are two pinnacles of film.
I haven't seen either of those.
Again.
Yeah,
This guy. You never seen The Wizard or Gleaming
No,
the
I've
Cube?
seen them both.
Okay.
I was saying
When I was young and like skateboarding as a kid, people would often drive by and just yell, "Gleaming the Cube." all the time.
That's a quote, by the way. That's a quote.
All
He's
the
not
time,
saying-
people would yell that at me and my friends as we were skateboarding.
That's funny. Why? What does that mean?
It's the movie's about skateboarding and it has Christian Slater.
Oh, okay. But yeah, another song that was in it I don't know if it's the title, but Two Wounded Birds. Like I thought that song was a bit on the nose, like when they're I think it was like when they were hanging out or something. They were playing some Two Wounded Birds song,
Nah, I didn't notice.
I wrote love, like she drops the love bomb, like she says I love you, and is bawling hysterically the first night. Like after they bang,
Literally-
she's bawling and says I love you.
Literally about 4 or 5
And then-
hours
and
after
then
meeting him.
literally he's like, sure, let's get married. Sure.
It's true romance. I mean,
I get it, but it's a harbinger for things to come.
Okay, so then she reveals.
Then it
that-
escalates extremely quickly after that.
Yeah, and then she reveals she's got a pimp named Drexel, who's played by Gary Oldman. He's great.
Whoever created the character of Drexel, which I would assume is Quentin Tarantino, and then whoever cast Gary Oldman as that character was either a genius or crazy.
Yeah,
Probably both.
black guy or white guy who thinks he's black.
Oh,
Pimp,
it's-
crazy
yeah,
pimp.
first of
such
all,
a great character.
I do.
Yeah.
I know that Quentin Tarantino does have like a weird fascination, like with Detroit. But in his mind, is that really what he thinks Detroit is like? Is like white men with dreadlocks being pimps? Is what he thinks Detroit is?
Yeah, yeah. He's got a weird image of Detroit if he really thinks that that's
But,
common
yeah,
in
so,
Detroit.
Yeah, like the pimp was a white man with dreadlocks who had like black henchmen working for him, and apparently everybody was intimidated by him.
Yeah, and he wasn't even
And
that.
it escalates extremely quickly. Like he's sitting down with other dudes like at a meeting, and then just pulls out a shotgun and starts shooting.
yeah, drug deal gone bad. That's
I
where
mean, it wasn't even gone bad. Like there was
No,
no,
it was-
falling out.
well,
He just is like
destroys them all.
Christian
Yeah,
Slater said he's like a mad dog. Like he's just a crazy dude. Like,
he is. Yeah,
Well, that's when
Good way to
Christian
describe
Slater
him.
was trying to tell his father that he murdered somebody and it was justified.
well, he's telling Alabama, kind of like.
but also they got matching tats within like a few days of meeting each other.
And then when she meets his dad, she starts like freaking off with his dad because he's like, "Oh, give him a kiss goodbye." And
I
they're
thought that was
making
weird.
out.
Yeah, I thought that was a weird thing. She kissed him on the mouth for like a little longer than
Also-
should have been.
Going to the father, Quentin Tarantino loves the N-word.
He really does, especially white characters using the N word.
Yeah.
That happened 3 or 4 times in this movie.
Well, in the one scene, it happens at least 10 times.
Yeah, you're talking about the Christopher Walken Dennis Hopper
Yes.
scene. We'll get to that, but a great scene earlier in the movie. Clarence comes face to face with Drexel in Drexel's like living quarters, or whatever that was, apartment or
Well,
whatever.
they used the N-word then too.
That was pretty tense, a pretty tense scene, and it escalated quickly.
Just, I think it's more realistic. They're not going to say, I don't know, whatever the other word would be for it, but
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's very dated. Also,
they're going to throw it around a lot.
But I feel like in normal day-to-day conversation, dudes like the people in the movie wouldn't throw it around as often as they do in the movie.
I think they would.
I think they would as
Yeah,
well.
I do definitly think they would. I think that word is much more
Well,
common than you think.
No,
Yeah.
I
think
know how
Sicilians are
common
like-
it is. I
Sicilians
play
are-
online video games.
You don't think Sicilians are legit super racist? Like,
Oh no, absolutely. That scene is not what I'm talking about. Like the other ones throughout the movie, it just seems
like
out
what?
of place.
Drexel wouldn't say it? Like you're saying, like,
I don't know. Just Tarantino movies in general, it seems like the word is very prominent, more so than it is in day-to-day interactions.
Yeah, but we're not having interactions like in Tarantino movies.
Well, I know,
what
but
mean?
I'm saying like it's just because this is how it was. Like I talked to my friend who was like, "Hey, I just watched True Romance like a couple months ago again," and he was like, and I just thought like, man, Tarantino just sitting in his apartment, him alone with a typewriter, just pounding out the N-word 180 times, just like this fits right here. I love it. Like
He does love that word in his movies. He really does.
he loves pushing buttons, I guess.
He does. Yeah, very edgy.
But I mean, yeah, like well,
edgy in his dialogue, everything, really. Yeah. But let's get back to that scene though. The balls on Clarence for walking in there and giving him an empty envelope as the payment
for his peace of mind.
Yeah, the balls on Clarence. I'm surprised he could fit in the door with those size balls, man.
I feel like
Jesus.
it was part balls, part dumb. Like he was
He didn't realize what was going to
Yeah,
happen.
like he thought he was.
I'll just go in here and
he's
get
like,
his
I'm a
stuff
tough guy.
Yeah.
I got a gun. Like, no, and then he got his ass beat.
He did, but he won at the end of it.
I mean, he didn't win. He shot him. Like he
he
lost
killed
the
all.
fight.
Everyone died.
I know,
he
but
killed
he lost the fight horribly.
the
And then
fist
shot
fight.
him.
But yeah, it's true. Yeah. Never thought I'd see Gary Oldman say the N word as a white dude who thinks he's black in a movie.
That's
I
why
don't.
he's got tons of range, man. He's just a great actor.
He is a fantastic.
I
actor.
honestly had to re-look. Like, is that really Gary Oldman?
That's what I
'Cause
was
like,
like.
Yeah.
I watched the movie. I was
Crazy.
like, that couldn't have been Gary Oldman.
Crazy. Probably his most nuts role, I'd say.
Yeah,
One
I
of
would
them.
say so.
Also, that's where the inciting incident starts. Is when he goes to retrieve Alabama's things, and that's when he accidentally takes the suitcase full of cocaine in the drug deal gone bad, whom Christopher Walken and his people think, the Sicilians think, that Christian Slater's behind the drug deal gone bad, like the murders and all that, even though Drexel is. So, yeah. And also, did it show them get married? It didn't show that, did it?
they came walking
Yeah,
out
he
of
came
the
out of the
courthouse.
courthouse.
Oh, did they? I must have missed that. Okay. Yeah, that's when they flee to Hollywood to live with
Rappaport.
Dick Ritchie.
Which
yeah.
Rappaport as a wannabe actor and Brad Pitt as a stoner, that's the kind of dynamic I'm here for. That's one of the best like screwballs of the
roommates.
movie.
Yeah,
Just like that, just that whole thing even being in the movie.
that whole
was
dynamic.
Great.
Yeah,
And
it
then,
was
like,
funny.
When they show up, like the mafiosos show up, and like Brad Pitt's just like, "Hey man, you wanna hit this?" And like, you want to watch some TV with me? Like, get high with me? And then the guy's like,
He like cocks the gun. He's like, all right, never mind.
yeah, and he's like, fine, fuck. Like after he leaves, like there's nobody there. He's talking
Yeah.
to himself. He's like, fine, fuck you, asshole. I'll kill you. Like,
Yeah,
Don't condescend me,
yeah.
man.
Don't be condescending me, man. That's a good one.
yeah. The whole time he's like, get a job, and he's like, yeah. Get some more beer.
Always asking for cleaning supplies. Get some cleaning supplies.
Get beer and cleaning supplies.
But within hours of them fleeing to California, frickin' they got Clarence's dad tied up in his like trailer home kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like that was very quick. You know, and
Well, he dropped his license at Drexel's place.
Yeah, he
that's
dropped
true.
his wallet.
Yeah, I forgot that part. Yeah.
So they knew right where his dad was, and then his dad, they talked to the neighbors, and they said Clarence's car was parked at his dad's place. So I knew he was there.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And
Okay.
then after the prolonged scene where they're questioning him, they torture him, and then there's the whole
Troll job.
yeah, and then they kill him, and then they find the address on the fridge, so it all could have been avoided. They could have just taken that note and been done with the whole thing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, not have to kill him. Yeah. Yeah.
They probably still would have killed him, but
Oh yeah, but
They
I
probably
mean,
still would've.
It's just the whole. It's just so funny. Like he's like, "Hey boss, you're gonna be happy,"
Yeah.
and it's like it was just sitting there in front of him the whole time. Like he could have been like, "Oh hey boss, here it is."
That was a great scene though, huh? That
it's one of my
Walken-
favorite scenes. I love that scene so much.
Yeah.
Oh then
Very well acted.
I knew it was a star-studded cast, but I did not expect to see Balky Bartokomous, which you guys are not going to get that reference.
No.
But the guy who was like the assistant to the producer.
Oh, I
that they
definitely
got
get the
drugs.
reference. Belky.
Yeah, you know Belky?
Yeah, of course I know Belky.
Thank
Of course, yeah. Belky's great.
you. Okay, so there was a sitcom on TV when I was a child called Perfect Strangers, and the dude who plays the assistant who sets up the drug deal.
Oh
for
yeah.
the director.
The rat guy.
Played like a random Greek dude who had this distant relative in Chicago, and he just came over from Greece and was like, "Hey, I'm moving in with you," and it was just a super stupid adult sitcom that I loved as a kid, and I thought he was the funniest dude ever because he just had a funny accent and like didn't know
It was
anything
funny.
about America, and it was super stupid.
It was a great show.
And then him in this movie, and I was like, "It's Balky."
That's my guy. Yeah. Just such a minor character, and he's the rat. Gandolfini also in it. James Gandolfini.
Amazing.
He was menacing as hell, man.
Yeah, he
Bad dude.
Beats up Alabama.
squares up with Patricia Arquette.
Yeah,
like
that was
she is,
crazy.
a man.
Gandolfini's a big dude too.
Yeah.
Then, okay, what about rotten in Denmark? Have you ever heard that saying before this movie?
I have heard that saying. Something's
I-
rotten in Denmark. Yeah.
Yeah, but they say it so much in this movie.
Do they? I didn't catch it once.
I didn't either.
They say it at least 4 times because Clarence says it, and then one of the gangsters says like, something's rotten in Denmark. They say it like 4 times in the movie, and I was just like, that is such a weird phrase to be used multiple times in this movie.
Yeah, that is. I mean, so is the N-word. It's not really a phrase, but yeah, they use that a lot.
Well, yeah, but rotten in Denmark, like the N-word makes sense because people say that, especially Italians and Sicilians. So that's a common thing.
That's true. That's
and
true.
then people in Detroit, also a common thing for them to use that word. Like white people and minorities from Detroit use the word way more than I feel like people in other places.
That's very true. I would agree with that.
But rotten in Denmark, I expected to hear the N-word a lot. I didn't expect to hear something's rotten in Denmark multiple times.
Yeah, that got you by surprise. Yeah, an old
Like
old
every
saying.
time they just said it, I was like, what is happening?
There should be a rotten in Denmark counter. Yeah. But hey, how about back to that scene? Dennis Hopper, you knew he knew he was gonna die. You see it on his face, and then he asked for that cigarette. He's like, "Let me get that cigarette." He's like, "I want one last cigarette," and then he does the major troll.
Yeah.
And,
So he knew it would fire him up if he said they were descended from black people. So
yeah.
you could just see him walking his face. He starts laughing like, "What?"
He's like,
guy,
this
like-
guy. Yeah, but like, yeah, he wanted to defeat him mentally, like kind of like one last, mental missile.
One last fu.
Yeah, one last FU before he bit it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and he got it.
Yeah.
I haven't killed anybody since 1984.
1984.
There's so many amazing scenes in the movie. Like even the whole Gandolfini beating her up. Like some of Gandolfini's
Oh.
face is like he just like
And
he
then,
looks
yeah,
up after he
then
punches her. Like,
her like
Gandolfini,
reactions.
yeah.
so good in everything.
And then like
Yeah.
I mean, Sopranos, it doesn't need to be
she's
said,
trying
but
to like sneak the corkscrew, and he like sees her, and he's like, "Oh yeah, go ahead."
Yeah.
and he
Take a
she
shot.
just jams
and
it in
then,
his
yeah,
foot.
she like he did not expect. He
No.
thought she was gonna lunge at him, and he could overpower her.
Yeah.
and she just straight goes through the foot.
Yeah.
and he loses his.
When his head's
mind.
bleeding and she's like, "You look ridiculous." It's like, what?
He looks in the mirror. That's so funny. But Clarence and Alabama, pretty impulsive characters, aren't they?
100%.
Yeah, I would say so. They steal drugs, and then flee to
And
California.
then, yeah, immediately, like, they're not like, oh, what should we do? He's like, we're going to California. We're going to sell it all. Like,
Yeah, pretty impulsive. And they get married they bang and get married like 2 days after they meet.
Well, they were both pretty lonely and lost. So
That's true.
Like
Good
they didn't
point.
have anything else. Then they met and were like, "Oh, you like kung fu stuff," and not the Partridge Family, obviously, but
yeah.
he's like, "I didn't really like
Yeah.
the Partridge Family actually." But
Yeah. Yeah, what else, guys?
Worst? What is, in your opinion, the worst part of the movie?
There's some things that honestly that the characters did that I don't. There were two moments in particular that I don't approve of, which was banging in the phone booth in public.
I don't approve of.
What if a little kid drives by, like in their family
I
car?
don't think they were caring about that.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying I don't approve of that. And then also another one when she kills the cop at the end. I don't approve of that. Dude didn't do anything wrong.
I mean, her
she
husband was shot on the floor,
He shot
so
Clarence.
That guy shot Clarence.
Well, I mean, that's what she assumed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she blew that cop away without any hesitation. So
otherwise they were going to jail. So
Yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah.
and he was gonna die, so I had to get him out of there.
what
Yeah.
what's your worst part? Or do you have any?
I really don't have any. I
What
love
do
the
you
movie.
think-
Like,
I think the worst part of the movie is
wardrobe.
all of the Elvis. I fucking hate Elvis.
I like Elvis.
Yeah, I like Elvis as
so,
well. So
Elvis is a straight up pedophile.
Yeah, but he's not
yeah, but
a pedophile. I never heard that.
He moved his wife over here when she was like 12 years old from Germany.
That's a story for a whole different thing, But like, he's a big Elvis fan. I'm sure he didn't know about the pedophilia or whatever.
I just don't. And you know how I am. I hate like when people are over the top obsessed with things, and Elvis is one of them. Like if you like Elvis's music, whatever, but people straight up jack off to Elvis, and it is absurd.
Yeah, they really do.
Like he's like even some of
Especially
stories-
people in the South.
Stories about Elvis are entertaining and hilarious, and like he was out of his mind and thought he was a karate master, and like at one point, like in his older days, like thought like they gave him a like when a mayor gives you a key to the city, they made Elvis like an honorary sheriff or something. So he legit thought he had the power of like police.
Went to his head.
And yeah, and in an airport, like
Yeah.
he pulled out a gun and tried to arrest somebody on a plane, and they're like, Elvis, you're not a real cop. Like you're not allowed to do this.
Yeah, he knew he was a big deal, so he
Yeah, he just was out of his mind.
yeah. But another, let's list the cast. Freaking great cast. You got
Belky Botakamos.
One of the best casts.
You
in
got
movies.
Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette, James Gandolfini, Dennis Hopper, Christopher
Well, also,
Walken,
it was when some
Brad
of them-
Pitt,
It was before
Samuel
some
L.
of them were a
Jackson.
thing.
Yeah.
Like, it was before some of them had like made it to that tier.
Some
so,
of them
like,
had
this
small
was, like, their
parts.
start.
Yeah, Samuel
Crazy.
Jackson was in it for like a little bit, and Gary Oldman,
Yeah.
and then a couple weird ones: Tom Sizemore and Chris Penn, who's now passed away, brother of Sean Penn. But those guys playing guys or like detectives busting people for a coke is like O.J. Simpson and Aaron Hernandez busting someone for killing someone. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
ridiculous. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of ironic. There was it was cool to see some Detroit, Detroit in the movie,
Yeah.
Motor City, and they also mentioned Dearborn. That was
Yeah.
pretty neat, you know. Oh yeah, I like. You know, it was a funny little scene when they're packing like all the guns and stuff to go after Clarence in Alabama. Clarence in Alabama, they're packing like so much guns and ammunition. It's insane. You remember that little scene?
And when they zip up the duffel bag, the barrels are sticking out of the bag.
Yeah, there's just too many guns and ammo. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, here's a good line from the movie. One of my favorite lines. It's better to have a gun and not need it than to need it and not have it. They say that near the end. So.
That's when they pat him down, and he's like, "Well, why would you bring a gun?"
Yep. That's the freaking. Speaking
Also, that is a point, like, because Clarence, they paint him as a nerd the whole time, and then when he goes to like confront Drexel, he has a gun, but still, you're still kind of like, oh, he's kind of like a weakling, a nerd, but
Yeah.
he knows how to use a gun. And then at that point, he's just talking like he's a hard ass, like, yeah, I got a gun. Of course, I got a gun. Like, and it's, okay.
yeah, he can turn it on and off. You know what I mean? He's got a dark side, a tough side, I think, but he's a nerd at heart. I'd say it's safe to say that. Yeah, and the song that plays throughout the movie, "You're So Cool," great song.
It is a
That's
great
what she
song.
writes on the napkins. That's
Yeah.
napkin. That's what she tells him. "You're so cool." Yeah. But it all comes to a head when the cops, the mobsters, and the Hollywood drug people all come in on one place because of them,
But-
and it's all because of just this massive amount of cocaine.
How fucking absurd was the amount of feathers?
Oh, in the final scene?
Yeah, in the gunfight,
Oh yeah,
there were so many feathers in the air. It was like they had just shot a whole group of like flamingos on the beach. Like it was just a whole room full of feathers. There's no possible way there were that many feathers in the furniture.
you
Like,
don't know.
It was nonstop because then they would like. Because then the camera would like leave the room because Rappaport like made a run for it, and then the camera came back to the room, and there were more feathers falling from the ceiling.
Feathers descend
It
slowly.
was just like at all times, like every time the camera moved, it was like, throw more feathers, turn the fan on, throw more feathers.
Get the feathers going. Do we got our feather guy? Come on. That is funny. And then at the end, they flee to Mexico, happily ever after. They have a kid, name him Elvis. Yes, I'm sure you approved of that, huh? But yeah, really, really great movie. Classic characters, classic look. Really good story. And let's get to our ratings. What did you guys give it?
I give it a 9 out of 10.
Ooh.
I love True Romance. I think the writing was amazing. How it all came together in the end. The FBI, you got the bodyguards for the drug dealer, actor, and then you got all the cops and the crazy mafia all coming together in one room. It's just amazing writing.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Fantastic rating. Tarantino.
Amazing scenes, amazing script, great cast. I really have nothing negative to say about it, other than the feathers, obviously. But
Yeah.
It wasn't really a negative thing. It was just absurd.
One of your favorite movies, you'd say?
it's up there, yeah.
Yeah. Shaw, what about you?
I gave 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Okay. I'm the same. I gave it also an 8 out of 10. Classic movie. Great writing. Great direction. Tony Scott movie. He's made some classics. Yeah, but
There's just so many reactions and like lines and just acting overall and script that are so good. If you watch it multiple times, you'll notice different things every time because some of the actors are so good in it.
They're incredible.
Like if you notice the whole Gandolfini scene, some of the faces he makes are just so great.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I thought that too. Yeah, so like he's so good subtly.
Yeah.
You know, it's so like I
Like
don't know,
even
like-
when he hits her, he makes like just a face. You're just like, man, it's so evil.
yeah, he plays such a good bad dude.
Yeah.
You
The
know.
whole shootout started because of coffee. Like, because they were all just in a standoff. And then when he realized that Balky was the rat, he takes like the pot of coffee and throws it at him.
Yeah.
And the cop just starts
Yeah.
shooting. So it was just
That's
like,
right.
he just throws coffee and then all hell breaks loose.
All hell because of coffee.
Which,
But-
you know, I don't like coffee. So.
I don't know. The only thing I hold against it is, and I don't know if I should even, is that like the characters, I don't approve of some of their actions. Like
That's ridiculous. to
yeah,
say. It's a
I don't know.
movie. It's a movie.
I know.
First of all.
I know. I get it. I get it. But I want to like them so much. I like a lot of their characteristics and traits and stuff. But like some of the stuff that they get into, almost. It's like they're looking for trouble. Almost. I get it. They're lonely. They're lost. They're bored.
Looking for trouble how though? Like banging in a phone booth? It's by the train tracks.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like.
And they're newlyweds. So
No, I'm
it's not
talking
like-
about seeking out Drexel.
Newlywed.
I'm talking about seeking out Drexel, getting all the
Reckless.
drugs, and then fleeing to their.
He wanted to like prove he could protect her.
Yeah, but why
and do
why-
stuff for her.
Why does he need the drugs? Just
He didn't take the drugs on purpose.
yeah, but then when he got them, he went to L.A. to sell them and all this. And
Well, yeah, they wanted to make a life. That was like $1 million in drugs.
I get it. I don't know. It's just very impulsive people, and those people are not as cool as they're portrayed in this movie. In real life, I don't think.
Are you saying they were portrayed as like good people and they're not good people?
That's what I'm saying. I think they were portrayed more in a positive light, even though those people really don't exist in real life. That those people aren't as good as they seem.
Well, it's a movie, so
I know. I get
not.
it. I get it.
it's not a documentary.
I get it. But I don't know. It is a great movie, though. I will say that. That's just my thoughts.
Okay.
Final verdict. See it ASAP. See it whenever. Skip it.
If you haven't seen it, see it ASAP.
Yeah, watch it 10 times.
See it ASAP. That's the final verdict. And that is our review of True Romance. We will see you next week with another review. Thank you for watching.